Abaticola and Ferrari discuss everything. With Matt Abaticola.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash.
I'm sorry I ruined your New Year's Eve party. She tasted like cigarettes.
And Jason Ferrari.
I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Two complete nincompoops with microphones and access to the World Wide Web. Presented by Mickey Finn's Brewery in Libertyville, Lake County's oldest brew pub. Now, here are your hosts for this shit show, Abaticola and Ferrari.
Hello there, podcast friends, and welcome into another episode of Abaticola Ferrari Discuss Everything. It's the AFDE show. He's Jason Ferrari. I'm Matt Abaticola, and we're glad to have you as part of our program. This is episode number 35. It's called Barnyard Funk. I think that's a great name. We normally don't explain the names. This one, though, it deserves a slight explanation.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to name the company or anything like that. It's just in the description.
In the description of a hard cider from Spain that was on the menu at Little Bad Wolf.
Yeah.
Where we met for a pre-show meeting. And I thought, wow, I'm going to order one of these for Jason. It smells like tart apples with a little bit of Barnyard Funk. So that's where that comes from, and that's the only time we'll let you in behind the curtain. Episode 35, Barnyard Funk, AFDE show. We are brought to you by our good friends at Mickey Finn's, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in beautiful and historic downtown Libertyville. Now, we're recording on Thursday, May 10th. Happy birthday to my father, Phil, 81 today.
Yeah.
Also, 1 year ago today, I walked away from 670 The Score, Chicago sports radio station.
Wow.
So 1 year anniversary today. My father turns 81 today. But more importantly, we're recording this one day before I'll be at Mickey Finn's for Modern Day Romeos. I'm very excited. So as you hear this, I will have spent Friday night at Mickey Finn's enjoying Modern Day Romeos. And Finn's, you can check them out at MickeyFinnsBrewery.com, also on Facebook, on Twitter, at Mickey Finn's. Fantastic beer. Their cerveza is now back on tap, which is a wonderful summer beer they have.
And a catchy and creative name.
Very, very catchy.
It's also made in Spain.
I believe it means beer in Spanish, but I could be wrong.
At least it's not called baño.
I'll bring a jug of that. Right? You want to try a new Mexican beer? It's called baño.
You guys got toilet on tap?
I'll bring a jug of the cerveza. You can give it a shot next time we record.
Well, they're gone now, right? The other ones.
Which
that
other
we've
ones?
Talked about, the red and all the other stuff.
It might still have the red.
Okay.
It wasn't too long ago I had it, so yeah, maybe it's still there. But I'll bring cerveza by.
Jug of something.
They have fantastic beer. They are Lake County's oldest brew pub, actually Illinois' oldest brew pub. So check them out. Great beer and great food too, as well. Really good people over there at Mickey Finn's. So episode 35, Barnyard Funk. Hope you enjoyed our last episode, which was Jason and our special guest Jared Payton. So we'll have more football unique podcasts throughout the NFL season, and whenever Jason gets a whim, feels like doing a football podcast, we'll have that for you under the AFDE show. Abaticola Ferrari Discuss Everything. You can catch us on Twitter at AFDE show, Facebook.com/AFDE show, and email us anytime, afdeshow@gmail.com. So how's your week been?
Busy. Wait, when did we record last? I'm trying to. It all like rolls together for me, and I'm trying to think of like what's happened. So was
right before. It was right after the draft.
Sunday. It was Sunday after
the draft. Yeah.
No,
then
after Packerpalooza.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
it was the next day after.
That's right. Packerpalooza, which was I talked to Kevin. We had there is definitely a bromance man crush happening over texting. So. Looking forward to getting out there for a Packers game. He actually said, let me know which game you're coming to, because, Crystal being a Packers fan, her dad is a huge Packers fan.
Yep.
I told him that we'll bring him out there for a game. I mentioned to Kevin. He's like, let me know which game. We're going to roll out the red carpet for you.
Yeah.
So,
and I was there on Monday.
Very excited.
Monday night, actually. Hanging out and drinking. I only had one Schlitz and switched to the $2 line and Kugel drafts.
Probably a good move.
Yeah, well, I mean, either way.
Your colon said thank you.
Anything that's less than $3 is bound to make you feel like something else. Yeah, so I did that on Monday. Like I told you, I did catch Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, I don't want to know anything about it because I
No,
haven't
I'm not-
seen yet. But you thought it was okay?
I liked it. Yeah.
Oh, you liked? Okay.
It's a lot going on.
Oh, is there?
It's everybody.
That's what you said. You said
It's
a lot
everybody.
going on. Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, because you
know?
got the Guardians of the Galaxy, you got that Doctor Strangelove, you got all the Avengers are in there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, but it's cool, and they definitely leave you wanting, like at the end. So
Best thing I saw on Twitter about Avengers Infinity War was someone tweeted out a screenshot from the intro of the movie of the show Friends, and they said this is where the Infinity Gems have been all along. Remember, there would be an F, and then there'd be a gem, R, and then a gem, and then I, and then a gem.
No.
And they were all the different colors
yeah,
of the
I got
Infinity
you.
Gems.
With okay.
Yeah, and I'll pull up a picture, you can see it, but yeah, so that's the funniest thing. And they were like, this is where the Infinity Gems or stones have been the whole time. Right. Then, of course, that stupid song got in my head, and that was the end of that day.
Let's see. Anything else? There's something that I am completely forgetting that I wanted to say, and now, standard bus commute stuff. Long work week. Oh, nice.
Yeah, pretty smart. I thought it was clever.
We Trish and I went to a Cinco de Mayo and Derby party on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
It was cool. Nice. I mean, ate more Mexican food that day than I think I have all year.
Okay. Didn't help your situation at all?
No. Yeah, I can't poop. I'm having trouble pooping. For those of you who have had any multiples hernia surgeries, it does wonders on your flow.
I can't poop.
Yep. So there's that.
I've sat down and I can't poop.
And then Sunday, we had a doggy play date with Peyton and our friends and their dog, Dawson.
Nice.
So
Peyton and Dawson.
Yeah.
Yeah, you millennials.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely not. I don't fall into that category. Walter Payton was drafted in 1975.
Yeah. Well, Peyton and Dawson. So,
Yeah.
Walter Payton and Dawson's Creek hanging out.
That's what some bartender made that joke. And I'm like, yeah, they
yeah.
named it after Dawson's Creek.
Smart bartender.
Yeah.
Well, our bartender today, because both beers I had today were nitros, and I ordered the second one, and he was like, "Oh, you must be a big fan of Fast and Furious." And I was like, "Huh? How's that?" He's like, "Oh, these nitros you ordered, you like the Nas, huh?"
Oh,
Yeah.
so bad.
Well, whatever.
No, the beer was really good, and
I'm old enough to laugh.
Thankfully, I didn't hear it firsthand because I'd be like, dude.
Well, I ordered you the same one. I'm like, he's a big Vin Diesel fan.
Yeah, more Paul Walker guy myself.
Mhm.
R.I.P. Dude.
Oh, dude, that was amazing. That story you told me about the St. Practice Day crawl.
Yeah, several years ago. We do this pub crawl called St. Practice Day. This past year was the 10th. It's the week, usually the weekend before St. Patrick's Day, so you don't have to deal with that stuff. And one of the specials at every bar is Irish car bombs. And I believe we went in there, and Paul Walker had passed away like 3 days ago before that. And we ordered Irish car bombs, and the guy's like, "Yeah, you want to make those Paul Walkers?" And we're all just kind of looking at him like, "What?" Then it clicked in my head. I'm like, dude, that's so bad. It's an Irish car bomb with a fireball at the end of it.
Yeah, so doing an Irish car bomb shot followed up by a shot of Fireball. Yeah, that's
It's Paul Walker. I don't know if that's lasted, but that was a fresh wound.
Well, I like it.
Yeah,
I'll bring it to some bar wherever I go to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we spent last weekend in Sheboygan. Went up Friday afternoon and stayed through Sunday. Took the boys there for Jack's birthday to a water park. There's a really great place called Blue Harbor Resort. They have a giant indoor water park. So Chris and I brought the boys and Leo. Abigail came with us. We had
I didn't know she was there until I saw the picture.
Yeah, we had a great time. Really good water park. Had a lot of fun. Friday night we got out for a little bit. And went to just walked around a little downtown Sheboygan there, and went to a place called Anglers, and had a really interesting time with the bartender there. We walked in and the place was empty, and I was like, "You guys open? You closed?" I mean, it was, I don't even know what time. I don't remember what time it was, but he was like, "No, come on in. I'll pour one." And then all of a sudden, before I knew it, the place was hopping and busy again. And he made a shot for me, called it a campfire.
I've had one of those before.
Okay, I've never had, and so it was
Up there.
Amaretto and Bailey's half and half, and then he floated 151 on top and then let it on fire.
Lit it on fire, yeah.
So you get the flame. I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. It's kind of cool. I'm like, campfire, yeah, it's cute. He's like, oh, hang on. And then he grabs a big shaker of cinnamon and starts tapping the shaker of cinnamon over the flame, and it starts to spark.
Right, yeah.
Like a campfire. It was really cool. And then I'm like, well, that's great, but I'm not sure how that's gonna happen to go down there. And he's like, oh, hang on a second. So he takes a coaster, puts it out, threw it down. It was actually pretty tasty. Which I don't mind Bailey's and/or amaretto. So
151 is
that's
a little brutal.
They use that to run boats up there too in Sheboygan.
I think so. And clean engines,
and Cologne. Sheboygan was actually I liked it.
No, it's pretty cool.
I'd never been to Sheboygan before.
It's a little bit north of Milwaukee. It's
not
a bad spot.
It was an hour, 50-minute drive for me because, I'm basically in southern Wisconsin. There's a brewery there called Three Sheeps. Had some of their beverages there. Had actually one here at Little Bad Wolf today was the first one I had, which is a great name. It could be a show name, too. It's called Cashmere Hammer, one of their stouts that Three Sheeps make. But
I'm going to add that to the list as you're talking.
Yeah, so Three Sheeps, a great little brewery, Blue Harbor Resort. Had a great time. Had a really cool room. Big room with an upstairs loft. It was a great spot. We had a really good time being up there, and I'll definitely go back to Sheboygan. So that was my weekend, and then the week has just been work and soccer practice canceled again yesterday because of the weather.
Oh yeah,
but dude, here's the thing. So I waited as long as I could, and then I finally canceled practice at we started at 5. I canceled it at 4:55 because it was like there was thunder, there was lightning. It was raining, but not bad.
People show up, and you're like, you gotta just.
Well, no, I mean, I kept telling. I was texting because I have all my parents on a text, and I'm like, I don't know how it's gonna go. I go, I'm here now, and I was kicking balls and stuff, and I'm like, we'll see how it goes. And then when I saw the lightning at 5:02, I'm like, well, I can't have kids out in lightning. The soccer association would kill me, so I canceled it at 4:55. At 5:05, it was blue skies and hot out. And Hank had a baseball game later that night that he played. Yeah. I was so ticked, but it's just like spring soccer is just the worst. We've had more things canceled than we've actually participated in spring.
I never get this lucky. It's usually like I will leave the office and then there's torrential downpour. Then I'll get on the bus and there's nothing. Yeah. And then it'll rain when I get off. This time, I got on, and it went
yesterday?
Insane. People were sprinting everywhere, getting on, just so soaked. The bus, it was leaking into the bus.
Okay.
The bus roof was leaking in multiple spots. So
yeah, good CTA bus there. So you have a leaky roof.
Yeah. Oh.
At least the roof wasn't on fire.
And when we get into the random stuff I hear things, there was a comment that happened, and it had to, even though I knew the context, had to go on. It's on the list.
You can't tell it now, or do you have
I'll
multiple
just do it
things?
now. No, that's fine.
Okay.
I got it now. All right. So
this is on the bus.
The bus comment was
the leaky roof, not the roof that was on fire.
Two girls sitting in the we're in the two seats side by side. There are two girls sitting in front of me.
Okay.
And you could see water collecting in one of the lights. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be bad. It's gonna pour out or break. And it just a direct stream just hits this girl, and she totally is not expecting it, and is like, what the, looking around. Her friend is laughing her ass off, and she said, where is it? I thought someone was peeing on my chest. I was choking on my own spit. I was laughing so hard. So she thought on a CTA. Well, I think she was being funny, but
yeah,
that was the first thing that popped into this girl's head.
Too bad the word "again" wasn't in that sentence.
Yeah.
Would have made it better.
Yeah, I thought someone was peeing on my chest.
Again.
So the rest of it, things I've heard this week, these are all at the office. Again, if you've not listened to this, not segment, but periodically something will happen where I'm not paying attention to almost all of the conversation.
I don't know who you work with.
And this oh man, they're funny. This drags me in. So the first one that happened was a guy I work with, and I only caught the tail end of. Most of my caloric intake is from alcohol.
Okay.
That was funny to hear, just that part. The next one is, isn't that like shooting a mockingbird or some shit?
Okay.
Don't know the original context, but I'm like, okay, that's pretty
solid.
Yeah. I thought I was going to pump, but then the boss called me. That's someone with a newborn, so I'm guessing that's what. Oh. But yeah, I just was, I have my headphones.
Because I immediately had two different thoughts for pump.
Yeah.
That came right away.
Yeah, I understood it. I just wasn't involved at the beginning.
I, of course, thought pump iron first.
Dude wipes.
That's what I like to do.
It doesn't break apart. That was today, and I don't. But so
Very true, though. Dude wipes don't break apart.
okay.
Must have.
Wait, she doesn't know how to pronounce her last name. So I'm always curious where this came from.
It's better that you don't know, though.
This happened today. I was walking in from my post lunch walk and heard, I have a third ass since working here.
Wow.
So I'm guessing weight gain
Yeah.
of some
So
sort.
Not only a second one, but a third.
Third,
Nice.
yes. So and this person contributes a lot of these. So
Okay.
yeah, that's the last one because the last one I had was the peeing on my chest one. So
Nice.
That's things I heard since the last recording where I'm not paying attention and just catch those
glimpses
parts
of it.
of the
That's great.
conversations.
There was a really cool story that I saw on ESPN on Sunday, watching the ESPN television. There was nothing on to watch in the hotel, and we were kind of cleaning up, and so I just flipped on ESPN because Hank wanted sports, and so Sports Center was on. They had a really cool story about former Cardinals player and current Oakland A's player, Stephen Piscotty.
Ooh, I like those cookies.
His mother was diagnosed with ALS
that's
in
bad.
May of last year. She passed away on Sunday. They ran a story about him, and here's what's really cool about it. So he's playing for St. Louis. His family, he was born and raised outside of the Oakland area, so he grew up as an A's fan.
Oh, that's cool.
His numbers weren't all that spectacular last year, but all I remember about Stephen Piscotty is every time he would be up the bat against the Cubs, he got a hit. And I remember just hated seeing Stephen Piscotty. Like, he was a Cardinal player that I didn't like. He might not have had a great season, but it seemed like he always got hits against the Cubs. Therefore, I always hated Steve
course.
Piscotty. So here's the story. He gets traded in the offseason from St. Louis to Oakland. His mother is diagnosed with ALS last May. They trade him in December. The Cardinals traded, and I think he could be an important part, could have been an important part, a valuable part to the Cardinals' future. They traded him to the A's for 2 minor league players just so he could be closer to his family.
Holy crap.
During the season.
Wow.
Like, I love the story, wanted to like it more, but couldn't because it's the Cardinals, and I hate the Cardinals. But what an unbelievable move by an organization who is in the top tier and have been in the top tier for some time now of baseball franchises, the Cardinals.
Wow.
I mean, 11 World Series, 11 championships. They are like head and shoulders above the White Sox, head and shoulders above the Cubs as far as longevity and success. To trade a player that is an everyday player for you,
Wow.
just so he can be close to his family, was remarkable. Now, maybe it's not a big story to you because you knew about it. I didn't follow anything in the offseason, had no idea that that's the reason why he was traded. I absolutely loved hearing that. I thought it was fantastic. Now, the story moved me to tears, seeing what he was going through with his family and his mom, and the process that she had to go through having ALS, which is an absolutely horrific disease. I mean, you have the physical breakdown, but the mind is still there, which is just, it's got to be brutal.
Yeah.
To know exactly what you're going through. And the process they had to go through just to get her out of bed each morning, to put her in bed at night was terrible. So she passed away on Sunday. Thoughts for Steven and his family on this. I mean, it's just horrible. But what a cool gesture by the Cardinals to trade a guy that could be an everyday player just to be closer to home.
Yeah.
And then 2 days after she passed away, he got back to playing baseball, said it was the right thing to do, that he needed to play. I mean, I couldn't imagine.
And he's playing at home.
Right. The number of games his mom must have gone to since he was a
my
kid.
God, yeah.
Thousands of games she watched him play. So, and I guess when he went up to bat against, they were playing Houston, just the welcome and the applause and the ovation. The Astros team, I mean, some Astro players in the dugout were clapping, people just stopped, and they were going to let it go on as long as it needed to go on for him. So I thought it was really cool.
That's great.
His family started a fund to raise awareness for ALS. When I first heard about it, there was $48,000 donated at that point. This was a couple days ago. I heard about it. $20,000 of that $48,000 was donated by 2 Cub players. John Lester and Yu Darvish each donated $10,000
Wow.
to that fund. I thought that was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
What a move. And, you think, well, if you're going to be cynical, you're going to say 10,000, not a whole lot. But that was a fantastic gesture from an opposing player's team to a guy who was in your division, was a rival on that team. And then, they donate money to help raise awareness. and research for ALS. So, which there is no cure for ALS, and it's horrible. But what a great story, and it's one of those things out of sports that you love to hear those types of things from the sports world when you see guys doing things like that to support guys that they compete against. So, but again, I mean, overall, just a sad story, but what a great gesture by the Cardinals. And if I'm coming to the party late on it, that's fine. I didn't know why. That's why they traded him, but really cool move on their part.
Yeah, that's a tough disease. That's my dad's best friend passed away from ALS.
Oh, really?
The guy who, do you remember Tom Grimman? He called in to Boris and Bernstein. He was on the University of Houston team. That
for sure.
With the game of this it game of the century? What was it called? Against UCLA in like 70. Here, I'm gonna pull it up. It was
he passed away from ALS?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that was my dad's best friend. But I mean, he called him to score. I still have that interview.
Do you really?
I still have it. Yeah, it was so cool because I mean, it's a great story.
Yeah.
So but I've seen it firsthand. It's a close to the family thing, but I've never really. I mean, I think there probably are a lot of behind the scenes gestures from teams.
Sure.
This one just happened to
Yeah, I mean,
kind of has to be public because you've got to be like, why in the hell?
Right, because
would
it's not
we trade
like
like a great.
I know
player for
his
minor leaguers.
numbers last year weren't great. He was like a 235 hitter, but I remember against the Cubs, man, it seemed like the guy always got a hit, and it was always a big hit. And I'm sure what was going on with his mom last year, because at the start of the season, you find out your mom has ALS. It probably derailed him a little bit, so I'm sure his numbers were down. But what just a great gesture to do that, to say, you know what, it's going to be on your mind, be closer to home, be closer to your family to help out. Really cool move.
Class.
So, yeah.
Very classy, yeah.
Another big sports topic today going on is because the Cleveland Cavaliers are facing the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals starting tomorrow, or Sunday, Mother's Day, so a couple days away. But I saw a lot of talk on social media about the greatest of all time, and the comparisons between Jordan and LeBron have popped up again, and they're never going to stop. But here's the thing: I'm at a point now. LeBron with 3 titles, 7 consecutive finals appearances with 2 different teams. If they beat Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, it'll be his 8th finals appearance in a row, which is amazing. To me, the greatest of all time as far as the NBA players, 1-2 is LeBron and Jordan. Yeah. That's it. For me, it'll always be Jordan 1, LeBron 2. But if you want to make an argument that LeBron is 1 and Jordan's 2, you are not going to hear a fight from me about it. I'm not going to be that meatball guy that is unreasonable and won't listen to a thought or an argument that doesn't agree with mine. You can clearly make a case for LeBron James being the greatest basketball player of all time. Easily.
Yeah, for some reason and this isn't a, like a Homer thing. It's more like, why is that? Like, I don't understand why those conversations happen sometimes.
It's dumb sports thing.
It really is.
It's one of those things where you have nothing else going on, so you debate and discuss that.
I mean, you're talking about like a different time frame. The game was different.
The game was different, absolutely. The way that defense was played is different.
Huge now.
Right. I mean, he's a middle linebacker that can play point guard.
And he's fat. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I have a hard time sometimes when it's like, I'm like, who cares? He's great. He's one of the greatest. Right. Why does it have to be he's the best? Like I'm glad that it's a valid comparison because I wouldn't even know who would be like the third, honestly.
Right. I mean, as far as their skill set's concerned, I don't know who you'd have as the third. But the thing I love about LeBron the most, and I get a lot of grief on Twitter because I love LeBron and I'm supporting the Cavs for this playoff run because Hank likes him and he likes LeBron, which is great. I mean, he's one of the few players that he can call out by name. Denzel Valentine, Blake Griffin, and LeBron James. So I don't know. Again, I don't know how Denzel Valentine is in the group for Hank.
I remember you were talking about Blake Griffin several shows ago.
Yeah, he sees Blake Griffin on TV and he'll be like, "Oh, it's Blake Griffin." He was traded from the Clippers. Yeah, so he knows where he came from, what team he went to the Pistons. But
don't ever tell him he married a Kardashian; it'll ruin his life.
I like LeBron, and the thing I love about LeBron is the dude went right from high school to the NBA, and you've never heard anything bad about LeBron outside of the NBA. Like, he was never a guy that was caught doing this or caught doing that or had this incident or that incident. He's just been a guy with the same girl, raising kids, playing basketball.
At a high level, yeah.
He's got great character. He seems like a really good person. There's nothing outside that's scandalous or bad or negative. To me, that's a win-win, man. You have one of the greatest all time with a clean record, a clean character. you can't ask for anything more about that if your kid wants to watch him too.
I think my only I don't know, for some reason it takes a lot for me to hate anything or hate someone, but I think when those Jordan comparisons started years ago,
it was too soon.
In my mind, I'm just like, like, let's settle down.
No.
But he's a party to it though. Like he's an ego guy.
No, he's an ego guy, and he's a little bit of a baby at times.
Yes.
And I get that criticism. That's fine. But he's in his 15th year, and Jordan played 15. He's got still more to go. He has more regular season games. He has more playoff games.
I think it was the whole that whole Miami situation rubbed me the wrong way.
That was bad. I
mean, but I think that was also on Miami's part. But I'm taking my talents.
It was, but it was.
I think that was
terrible.
That was handled poorly.
He should not have been part of that. He should have done it very differently.
Yeah, with the
he really gave Cleveland a big FU, and it was bad.
So stupid, but
it was really bad. But you know what though? If you're going back through 15 seasons of the NBA, and if that's the worst thing you can point at,
no, I mean,
yeah.
it's been gone
I get it. Yeah,
for
sure.
so long. But I just remember, like, I had that just in the back of my mind,
with Jim
like that
Gray,
Jordan
and it's
stuff.
just so
I'm like,
bad.
What the shit? And then that Miami thing. So it just made it easier. And then like it's kind of like, to me, I guess maybe it's in the same sense as the Patriots, where like there's really no reason to dislike them because that's like an example of like what a franchise should be.
It's
and
just
they
jealousy.
win. It's complete jealousy.
Yeah.
But that's just because I'm way more of a football fan. But I mean, like, I can completely appreciate that the LeBron is hands down like one of the best players I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think it's a debate that has merit now with the length of time, 7 consecutive finals appearances. I mean, he's probably going to get 8 this year. I think they get past Boston. And we'll see, man. If it's going to be Golden State and Cleveland for a 4th consecutive year, that's
It's crazy.
Unbelievable. I mean, that's crazy.
I think Kerr's obviously a very, very good coach.
Well, great coach, great general manager, to put that roster together with the draft picks they had. Really, really well done. So I'll see. I know I'm watching it. I watched last night's game, the Celtics and Sixers, where the Celtics closed out the Sixers. Hank was watching the first half with me. He'd sneak out of bed and ask what the score was, and I'm like, all right, buddy,
that's so great.
Look at the score, get back to bed.
I want to come and hang out and watch a game with you guys. I think it'd be fun just to see him.
It's so funny to watch him, man.
Yeah.
He gets so mad. He counts the scores, and if the teams he's not rooting for isn't winning, he's mad about it. It's really funny.
No, that's great.
Yeah, it's really funny. I love it. And so I'm back into watching the NBA because of my kid. It's pretty interesting. So
on the show we put out the other day when I was talking to Jarrett, he has 2 kids, and his son Jaden is actually like. So I said to him, I'm not shocked, but your kid is already like a very good athlete. He puts videos up on Instagram of this kid just housing people in soccer.
How old is he?
I think he's 5.
Okay, so he's Hank's age.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, like, he's showing him in baseball. The kid's hitting dingers. He's like, Saturdays have become my favorite day because I get to go watch him play everything. Yeah. But he's also like, Daddy, can we go to the gym and shoot hoops? Like, so he said, as much as I know that he has some God-given talent in him, you could tell that the kid actually wants to be better. And I'm like, man, your bloodline is like the greatest thing ever. I'm like, it hurts for me to like move 3 feet. Like, it's amazing to me. Like, but
yeah, Hank had a t-ball game last night. He's loving playing baseball. It's great. He bats righty, bats lefty. It's just cool, and he loves it. He wants to do everything sports.
I used to do that too.
Any iPad game he plays now, it's all sports related. He has all like 7 or 8 different basketball games he plays.
Good.
It's all he does. He's into sports now. It's really cool. I love it, and it's making me love sports.
You've handed over the torch.
Yeah,
he can do all the heavy lifting, and you could just be like a fan from afar.
A fan from afar. That's what I am.
Perfect.
All right, every episode, and this is episode 35. Barnyard Funk. We end our first segment with our tweets of the week.
I have so many things. Hold on one second.
We pull out Twitter handles that we follow on our show, and you can follow us at AFDE Show on Twitter. So these are handles that we follow, ones that you should follow as well. I'm going to start prefacing it now by saying it's we pull out ones from the Onion and other handles that we follow.
I've purposely have been trying really hard
not to use Onion.
Oh my God, I can't.
But it's fine though. I mean, I would be disappointed if you did not put one every week.
So I have I put a lot of thought in this too because I have been picking ones that we're basically on the radio,
Okay.
so it's audio, right? So I mean, like, if the writing's not, yeah, I know, but if the writing's not good, I apologize that we're saying things and you're not seeing it visually.
This is great.
This one doesn't need a photo description. The tweet is from The Onion at The Onion. E. coli ready to treat itself to some beef after weeks of nothing but salad.
Yeah, so now that E. coli breakout because of romaine lettuce, 29 states now affected. At least one person has died. So that's a good job, Onion, to turn the situation and make us laugh.
This one is also from The Onion, and it's about apparently the most expensive city to live in the United States now. San Francisco has passed Manhattan.
Okay.
As the most expensive, and the tweet is, report San Francisco to shut doors over rising rent. So they're just apparently, San Fran just shutting down. Okay, here we go. Another one from The Onion, had to do it, and I did this purely for you.
Okay.
Go to The Onion and just look this up. It's a picture of the two Trump sons, and it's Trump boys ransack Mueller's office to steal answer key to questions for their dad. And they're like,
Eric and Don Jr.
Look, he's wearing the stupid hunting vest.
It's every picture. They have him as always
In the hunting vest, yes. Oh God. So yeah, this one's a more visual thing, but you get the point. All right. Great. So Ryan Reynolds he's one of my favorite follows. He is so funny, and the Deadpool press he's been doing is. Oh my God!
You saw this thing with Celine Dion?
Yeah, I retweeted it.
Oh, did you?
And then also he did something where Hugh Jackman was doing a birthday greeting to a friend, and he like came in. He was laying in the bed in the Deadpool costume.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that. That's really good.
All right,
this is a good one too.
So yeah, it's a picture of him.
It's Van City Reynolds.
Yes, at Vicinity Reynolds or Van City. Yeah, it is Van City. I've always thought Vicinity. So clearly, I've been telling people the wrong shit. Van City Reynolds. Oh God, I'm such an idiot. It's Van Wilder. That's why. No,
it's okay. Don't worry
did
about
you
it.
realize? Yeah,
I know.
Hey, at the very least on this show.
You know what? An epiphany of enlightenment.
Yeah, I'm about to have
nice to witness.
Epiphanies after like 1.5 beers.
That's all right.
Okay, so he's doing his press tour.
Yep.
So he's in Rome, and it's in front
and
of.
when you're in Rome,
yes, he's in front of Caesar's Palace, and it says Rome is stunning, and they have a Caesar's Palace here. Hope you finish construction too, with an Italian flag. Hashtag Deadpool 2.
Very nice.
And this we recently started following him as a show. I follow him on my own handle. But Anthony Bourdain, like, people have been lighting him up lately about, like, and his opinions he's not like blowing up politics or anything. He's literally stating facts.
Right.
And I think he just logged on one day and just started responding because his feed was going crazy. But this just is close to home for me because I always say, like, people on Twitter who are like trolls are, living with their parents and blah, blah, blah. So somebody said, you're so full of anger and hatred, no doubt a result of your personal insecurity and lack of education. I'm surprised Anthony Bourdain would want to work with you. He was talking about his business partner.
Yeah.
And Anthony Bourdain responded, I'm surprised your mom lets you use your computer. Dude, like, that's just such a mic dropper. I love. So, yeah, those are the 5. And we have recently started following some really good handles. We'll get into it in segment 2 because it's a website I didn't even know existed.
Okay.
It's the best. It's so good.
All right, we'll take a brief time out. That wraps up the first segment for episode 35, Barnyard Funk. We'll take a brief time out, come back. We kick off segment 2 of every episode with That's So Wisconsin. It's brought to you by our good friends at Will's Northwoods Inn. Our podcast, AFDE Show, a Batacola Ferrari Discuss Everything, is brought to you by Mickey Finn's, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in beautiful and historic downtown Libertyville. And I can tell you that I had a fantastic time tomorrow night watching Modern Day Romeos there. It was wonderful. Great food, great beer, and wonderful people. Check them out at MickeyFinnsBrewery.com.
Man, why did I have so many drinks I can't remember? What's today? October?
All right, welcome back into episode 35, Barnyard Funk. It's Batacola Ferrari Discuss Everything. We're brought to you by Mickey Finn's. Check them out at MickeyFinnsBrewery.com. Also on Facebook and Twitter at Mickey Finn's. They have their cerveza on tap now, their delicious Mexican summer beer. You will love it, as well as the food and the people there. Again, this is episode 35, Barnyard Funk. And we like to kick off the second segment of every episode with That's So Wisconsin. It's brought to us by our good friends at Will's Northwoods Inn. Check them out at willsnorthwoodsinn.com. Daily specials, trivia night on Tuesdays. We had a great time a few weeks back at Packerpalooza. Really good people, just a really good time, great staff. Really take care of you. Can't wait to go back and watch a Packers game. Going to see if we can do a Bears-Packers game, how busy it might be, or maybe get a Bears off week and just where the Packers are playing maybe and make it a little easier as far as the crowds are concerned. But
I feel like that's or if there's unfortunately it doesn't seem to happen very often, but if there's a noon versus 3 o'clock game or a noon versus like a
make
Sunday
it a little
night,
easier
Monday
for the
night
crowd.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a great neighborhood bar, and I'm looking forward to getting back out there. 3030 North Racine in the South Lakeview area. So Jace likes to find a story for us that revolves around the great state of Wisconsin or originates somehow from Wisconsin. And what is this week's story for That's So Wisconsin?
All right, so it's interesting that this is from the Washington Post, so
Okay.
a very reputable
Well, fake news, but sure.
news organization. But the story is real, as I have found it on other sources. But a man in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
Okay.
The headline is "Wisconsin man eats 30,000th Big Mac hamburger."
Wow.
And the story is nice and brief. This is the entire thing. A retired Wisconsin prison guard has eaten his 30,000th Big Mac nearly 46 years after eating his first. WBAY TV report. No, that's not even the gross part. TV reports that 64-year-old Don Gorski of Fond du Lac recorded a milestone at a local McDonald's on Friday. Gorski said he's eaten at least one Big Mac almost every day since May 17th, 1972. This is the gross part. He has kept most of the boxes or receipts or has made specific notes and calendars that he's kept. Guinness World Records has recognized Gorski for the most Big Macs consumed since 2016 when his tally was 28,788. Gorski says he's eaten so many because he just loves hamburgers. He says his cholesterol and blood pressure are normal.
I don't know. I kind of want to hug him, and I kind of want to never have heard that story. It's 30,000.
I mean,
I eat one, and I feel bad. Like nothing about you, McDonald's. I mean, it's fine and everything, but
your
it's just
system
like,
gets used to that. I mean,
Yeah,
you have to wonder what else the guy's eating. But if it's like one Big Mac a day, I don't know.
I guess because that's what it is. Because I don't eat it that often. So when
Yeah.
I do, I know that I ate something I normally don't eat. That's what it is. It's not like
I'd love it if that was his meal. Like, or that's all he just has like coffee and a Big Mac like every day, and that's it.
I guess I shouldn't judge. I mean, I love a big hot cup of coffee and a Slim Jim. So, but I haven't come close to 30,000 Slim Jims in my life either. That's wow. So wow, that's at least one a day for longer than I've been alive.
1972. Wow. Yep. All right, so that rolls into I think you alluded to it, and we always like to talk about poop. So
Wait, is this also Wisconsin? Or?
No.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, so that was That's a Wisconsin, brought to you by, and what a great story too. Fond du Lac man eats 30,000 Big Macs. Brought to you by Will's Northwoods Inn, willsnorthwoodsinn.com, 3030 North Racine in the South Lakeview area. Add a little bit of God's country in the heart of South Lakeview. That is Will's Northwoods Inn.
Okay.
All right. So I know you're so excited.
I was so excited.
About your poop story.
I wanted to do this before.
You texted me about it.
Yeah. Before
Yeah.
Okay. So, satellite producer cousin Jeremy sent me this article.
Oh, okay. So it's got to be good.
Yes, it's from ABC7NewYork.com.
Okay.
The headline is school pooperintendent accused of defecating on New Jersey high school track.
My God, school.
Subheadline: a mystery pooper who left daily unwanted messes next to a New Jersey high school track was caught in the act. All right, this is great where it goes to. Allegedly revealed to be a school superintendent, 42-year-old Thomas, looks like Tremaglini of Matawan, so this is in the Detroit area, or New Jersey area, excuse me, was charged with lewdness, littering, and defecating in public. So that's a charge. That's good.
For
well,
sure.
I mean, I just don't remember that the jogging pooper lady,
mad pooper? Yeah.
Like I don't remember the defecation charge. Sorry. In public Thursday, after police and school district officials set up surveillance to find out who had been defecating near Homedale High School's football field and track. Turns out Trambolini is the superintendent of the Kenilworth School District, about 30 minutes away.
So a rival school
he's a
system.
rival school district in pooping. Kenilworth's announced
Clearly, he's mentally stable. I mean,
he was granted a paid leave of absence, assuring faculty, staff, students, and parents that the district will continue its responsibilities without interruption. The alleged pooperintendent's motives are unclear.
So a guy who decides he's 42 that he's going to poop on a track of an opposing school, yeah, I mean...
Well, on or near. I just
So,
love these,
I mean,
like, pooping in, like, random...
They made the staff and the families feel very confident that things will continue as normal. Do you really think he was running things all that well to begin with?
Yeah.
If he thought pooping on a track was, like, part of his job description?
Yeah. Of a superintendent of an entire school district.
Hi, Lucy, I'm
taking a
heading out.
deuce.
Hold on my calls. I'm heading over to Kenilworth to poop on the track. Oh, George, you're so funny.
I hope there's a
Whatever his name
log,
is.
like an appointment log. Time to poop.
He has it penciled in his
He just
planner.
runs out. Poop planner.
Can't poop at 2 today. I got to hold it till 3.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So,
wow. Man, you love finding the poop stories.
yeah. Well, Jeremy found that.
Oh,
one.
that's right.
I did not.
Yeah,
I
that's right.
cannot take credit for finding the pooperintendent.
That's courtesy Boost Mobile.
Yes. I just was like, Boost and Cricket are having a fight. Have they merged yet? Oh boy.
Well, I heard Sprint and T-Mobile are going to merge.
Yeah, that's great. So our phone network will just get better. I love
So,
T-Mobile.
I had U.S. Cellular, which was bought by Sprint. So then I had to have Sprint, and then I dumped Sprint because I was very unhappy with the service I had. And now I have T-Mobile, and I'm going to going back to having Sprint.
Right, but
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
I hope so, because it was not good before.
No, Sprint blows. Like T-Mobile.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
T-Mobile has been really good. You've been very, very good to me.
All right, so the website that we were...
Yes. So, okay, so this was a website you didn't even know existed.
Nope.
Okay. And it made you happy because your face lit up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Macaulay Culkin,
Okay.
who,
Home Alone.
kind of fell off the grid, still, like, he, what is it, is it emancipated from his parents?
Yeah.
At a pretty early age, and just kind of, like, fell off the grid. And
I
then,
just saw him in an interview somewhere.
yes, so
Or did you show that to me?
I sent you the interview.
Okay.
But he and a buddy have started a website called bunnyears.com.
Okay.
And the kid, he's funny. Like, it's basically like an Onion type thing. And if you when you go to the website, what just pulled me in right away is I've personally not seen the movie My Girl. I think
I never have either.
It was like just right outside of our
Dan Aykroyd,
yeah.
some famous young actress.
Yeah, the girl who's in Veep.
Yes.
Anna
Yes.
something
Yes.
or-
Anna something or other.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Who's grown into a
100%.
decent looking lady.
Fantastic on that show, by the way.
But so the first article said Macaulay Culkin sits down and interviews the swarm of bees for My Girl. And it's a full interview. Like, they actually have the bees answering questions. It's really funny, but it's like an Onion.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit more aggressive.
Okay.
But it's very good.
Okay.
So it's bunnyears.com. And actually, he has, I think it might be, he actually has, like, really unique social media handles. Just Google Macaulay Culkin. Like, one of them's like, he just mocks shit. So his Instagram's like Culkamaniac.
Okay.
Or something. It's like, it's very, very, very funny website though. But that first article pulled me in. So if you like The Onion, and if you wonder where the hell he's been, because he's like in his late 30s now. He's been and he actually had a band that was damn it, like a 70s band that they did a tribute band, but they changed all the lyrics to pizza. So, like, any of the lyrics became like pizza delivery. Like, they changed it all
right.
and toured. And
Really?
people would like show it. Like Jimmy Fallon said, I went to a place in New York to get pizza, and I look up and Macaulay Culkin's like playing guitar and singing about pizza. Like,
It's fine.
hey,
Whatever works, man.
He doesn't need the money.
Whatever works.
But bunnyears.com. It's very funny.
All right, we should tag him, obviously, in this stuff and let him know
Oh, we will.
that we love him very, very much.
So my my appreciation of Saturday Night Live.
Of course. You've
And-
seen every episode.
Yeah, I really have.
That's not an exaggeration.
No, because now they're all
And
available.
it's not
on Hulu,
for effect
so
either. He has seen every episode
you can
of
go
SNL.
back and watch from 75 up on
crazy.
Hulu. They're all there.
But just think, that guy's he's been eating Big Macs longer than SNL's been on TV. I mean, take that in
still
for
alive.
a second. He's been eating Big Macs longer, at least one per day, longer than SNL has been on TV.
What that makes me think of what's from Grumpy Old Men, Burgess Meredith. He's like, I eat a pound of bacon. A pound of bacon for breakfast, a pound of bacon for lunch, and I drink my dinner. Or that lady that, what does she have? She has like chips and beer every day.
Oh,
and
yeah,
she's
the
still
way we have
alive.
the
Like,
show,
hey man,
yeah.
maybe that's the secret.
You know
I've
what
been
it
eating
is?
healthy.
It doesn't matter. When your time's up, your time's up.
So,
it.
Rob Schneider, if you remember him from
You
Saturday
Can
Night Live,
Do It!
Yes,
Yep.
Was a cast member for a long time.
Yep.
One of the part of the cast with Farley and Carvey.
One of my favorite interviews ever on the Boers and Bernstein show. We interviewed him at the Super Bowl in Jacksonville at 8 a.m, and he was baked out of his mind.
Yeah, he likes the weed.
And eventually Terry just kind of walked away. I kind of walked away, and we just stood back and watched Bernstein and Rob Schneider have one of the most enjoyable, entertaining conversations on that show I've ever heard. It was great. He was so high at 8 a.m. He was so unbelievably high.
Good for him.
Yeah. So
Wake and
great.
bake Rob.
So there you go.
So generally when you see someone critique Saturday Night Live, it's in response to them being mocked, on the show.
Right. You get right.
You
get
don't
sensitive
really,
or thin skin.
Or like I read it's the book that's over your shoulder that's like 600 pages long about the history of Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
And there are people who were on it, who have honest opinions about it and stuff. So Rob Schneider recently did an interview with the New York Daily News, and I just thought this is one of the first times I've ever seen. He's not attacking it. I mean, the guy's a veteran of the show. He has a right to an opinion like everyone else.
Right.
But I thought this was interesting. So he, to put it in context, kind of is taking a little bit of an issue with Alec Baldwin's Trump.
Okay.
And he is not a Republican.
Okay.
To make that clear. So the fun of Saturday Night Live was always you never knew which way they leaned politically, which is true.
Very true.
He told the Daily News, you kind of assumed they would lean more left and liberal, but now with the cat's out of the bag, they are completely against Trump, which I think makes it less entertaining because you know the direction the piece is going. The star of Netflix, Real Rob, which is streaming now, I love the little plug in the middle, compares Alec Baldwin's visceral portrayal of Trump to that of Carvey, who impersonated President George H.W. Bush on the show more than 30 times between 1987 and 2000. And his quote is, Carvey played it respectfully, Schneider said. To me, the genius of Dana Carvey was Dana always had empathy for the people he played, and Alec Baldwin has nothing but a fuming, seething anger toward the person he plays. He said, sometimes it's hard to watch as Trump because his political slant is obvious by a quick glimpse at his Twitter account. So, his point is, like, the show is nuking Trump. You know it's coming, like, the second he walks on, which the show never used to do. But because the country, a lot of us don't like him very much, it makes the sketches, easier to watch. So he says, Alec Baldwin was a brilliant actor. He's not a comedian. I don't find his impression to be comical because, like I said, I know the way his politics lean, and it spoils any surprise. There's no possible surprise. He so clearly hates the man he's playing. So it was interesting.
Yeah,
it caught my attention.
Very interesting. I think Seinfeld would disagree that he's not a comedian because he said he's one of the funniest people he's ever known.
And I think he is.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe in the sketch comedy landscape.
Yeah, probably not,
whatever.
but he's a very funny guy. And
agreed.
He's done more funny roles than I think serious roles. I think he's a great actor. And I respect what Rob had to say there, and I won't disagree with any of it because he's completely spot on. But here's the issue with it that I have.
I like as he didn't say it in contempt.
No, for sure. And I appreciate it because we can have a discussion on it. The thing about Trump and the hatred for Trump and the way people are very disrespectful of Donald Trump and disrespectful of the office, it all starts with Donald Trump. That's the thing. If Donald Trump was not the way that he is, the amount of outward and open anger and treatment of Donald Trump would not happen. It trickles down from the top. And because he is the way he is and the way he's been since he was candidate Donald Trump, it's opened the doors for politicians to be the same way. It's opened the doors for comedians and news people and journalists and the common citizen, the average citizen, to be as openly disrespectful about Trump as he is about so many things. I don't like it. I got sucked into it. I've walked away from it. You won't see me tweet the way I did about Donald Trump. You'd barely see me tweet anymore as it is. I didn't like where I was going as a person. I stopped doing it. But the way things are today is because of the way Donald Trump is. He, as president, has set the tone that we can be disrespectful, we can be rude, we can be outwardly blunt and ignorant in the comments we say about other people.
Ignorant,
He
for sure, yeah.
has started this. That is why things are the way they are, because he created the situation as the top man in this country.
Well,
it's
the
that simple.
first time since I've been alive that I feel like our political landscape is it's really like a reality show.
It is a reality show.
And
I mean, you have to go to the
like
president's
deeply upsetting.
Like news stations go to the president's Twitter feed for news. He doesn't speak to the
Remember
media.
a time when they weren't allowed to have cell phones or social media accounts?
This guy has his own cell phone he uses. He has Twitter that he uses whenever he wants.
They weren't.
But
yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you can love Trump, hate Trump, whatever it is. And if you can't hear what I'm saying, it's just because you're blinded by ignorance. You refuse to hear it and have an open mind. Things are the way they are because of Donald Trump. It's that simple. If he was not the way he is, the SNL Alec Baldwin skit would not happen.
Right.
It would not happen the way it happens now. It would happen more similar to the way Dana Carvey played George. It really would. But because he is as disrespectful and mean as he is, it's opened the door for people to be the exact same way.
Right.
It's plain and simple. He changes, the flow of the dialogue changes in the country. He's not going to change. It's not going to change that way, period.
I agree. I think he's, and obviously he's looking at it just purely through an SNL lens and how it's always been. And obviously, they had to make a shift.
Right.
They've made a shift to accommodate the, how it is.
Right. And I
Sucks.
agree with what Schneider said. And I think he's spot on. I think it was just well said and said respectfully. But the way things are today is because of Donald Trump. It's that simple. If he was a different person, things would not be this way. Maybe some of the policies and things would still be the same, but the way that the dialogue takes place,
outward dialogue, yeah.
the dialogue would not be happening the same way today if Donald Trump was a different person. Period. Speaking of Donald Trump, I will give him some props though. I mean, even though he was incorrect in one of his original tweets about it, but the 3 American prisoners that were held captive in North Korea were released, and they were home on American soil early this morning. Donald and Melania were there to greet them as they flew home with the Secretary of State from North Korea, and he's got a summit set up in June in Singapore with Kim Jong-un, and it's a great move, and I obviously to connect with Kim Jong-un, the way that Trump handled it and spoke to him and about him, they connected. Hey, and any opportunity to have less nuclear warheads on this planet is a positive thing.
Stop upsetting people who already want to kill us.
Now, the whole Iranian thing, that's a whole other story. Oh. But, a step in the right direction with North Korea. Unfortunately, what Trump said in a tweet several tweets ago, that, the former administration did nothing to get these 3 hostages freed. Well, I mean, that was a bit incorrect because 2 of them were imprisoned last year while he was president. Only 1 was in prison while Obama was president. But, bottom line is all 3 are back in the United States now.
Right.
So good move. Congratulations on that. That's a big win for Trump. It looked great. Great PR. As much as I don't like hearing the guy talk or seeing him on TV, give him props for that because that was a really big move.
Something positive happened.
Something positive and a very good thing. My second thought too on a political front, what happened with the New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman was unbelievable. I mean, here's a guy who was so outspoken about Harvey Weinstein and the Me Too movement, to have what's been surfaced now, just abuse and physical abuse in relationships and women that were afraid to come forward because of his political rise and the political star that he was. It really is just a shame. And I can't remember who said yesterday, who was I talking to about this? And they just made the comment. They were like, yeah, you shouldn't be surprised because the people that are usually the most boisterous and loud and outspoken about it generally have something that they want to hide themselves. And I'm like, yeah, I guess it's accurate.
I was wondering about this because I think we've mentioned it before where all of a sudden, we would talk about 1 or 2 people on the show. And then the next week it'd be 3 or 4. And then it's like, holy crap, I can't believe
so-and-so,
right?
Like, it got to a point where I'd hear a name on the news and I'd be like, all right, did he die or was he is he out for beating people
that was
or
our
harassing women?
Our text chain was, Okay, wait.
I would send you
The
a name. I would send a name. and then
Arrested or sexual harassment.
right, or dead.
Or dead.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if, in some weird way, anyone who is completely outward, like completely in the press about it, like the bullseye just goes right on them, and they're like, oh yeah, and then they dig and they dig and they dig and
they
they
find
find
it.
something,
Right.
right? Where it's just that stuff,
Right,
kinda-
because this came out because of journalistic work through the New Yorker.
right.
That's where it came out.
So I mean, what are you supposed to do? Like, I mean, like, hey, it's bad that the things are happening. I mean, do you just feel like, yeah, I support you in my mind? Like, you can't. Like,
Well,
it's just
I guess-
it's starting to get really.
Well,
it's brutal.
You know, when you have a guy like Schneiderman, and as the AG who brought charges against Harvey Weinstein, you know, he was so outspoken and against it. But then on the flip side, you have a guy like David Schwimmer who's actually out trying to make a difference. I mean, creating PSAs where showing what workplace harassment looks like and how it needs to stop. And you see him in the microphone, and it's not about a political movement. It's not about,
Right.
hey, look at me. There's a guy, you see genuine feelings, and you hear it in his conversation when he talks about it. You see that difference
Well,
there.
there's someone who has kind of a right to hold the microphone based on just celebrity status.
Right.
Not the right, but he's going to get the microphone,
Right, of course.
and using it for the power of
for
good,
actual change,
for the power
right.
of good. Yeah,
And not just saying I disagree with this or I support you. He's actually doing something to bring
Right.
about change, to at least educate people that, you know, if you need to be educated on what would be considered harassment, then you might be too dumb to hold a job.
yeah. Those seminars aren't getting the job done. I've sat through some of those.
Well, we had them all the time.
Yeah.
They were, you know, corporate ones from New York, and we had to sit through and there were videos.
Oh, man.
And I'd always try to fast forward, and it would a pop-up box would come up. You've gone too fast. You should slow down and reread this. And they wouldn't let you advance to the next screen until you took a long enough time. So I would sit and just wait long enough and like, all right, and then click through it, and then take the test at the end. And you know,
Have you
pass
seen the
them 'cause
movie
you're not an idiot?
Waiting? It's like early Ryan
Yeah,
Reynolds.
I barely remember it
But
though.
yeah, he puts the trainee in a room and closes the door, and he has to sit through like this cheesy, like basically you're working at Friday's training
Yeah.
video, and it's so funny. Hey, but talking about like really sensitive subjects.
Oh man.
So I have a couple of things that I think we'll just go through. I don't need to read the articles. We'll
yeah,
just
no, go through them. Yeah, then
them
we'll-
real
yeah,
quickly. Okay,
that's fine.
Headline, and this is in the Mirror. It's been a while though.
It has been. No,
It's been a while.
It certainly has
I've been finding things in other places.
You've discovered the
Yeah, but
the
it's kind of
World Wide
the
Web.
rest of the interwebs. The headline is woman caught on camera picking nose and adjusting bra in car window while gets a big surprise. So I'm sure you understand, what the surprise is. Someone's in the car, right? So there's a video. It's on the Mirror.
Adjusting your bra and picking your nose simultaneously. Good.
Yeah,
While
she's like-
driving,
she's-
good for her.
The video, she's got her hand in her bra, moving things around and totally digging for gold in the nose. And all
Pick
of
a lane, lady. Pick a lane.
all of a sudden, like someone just rolls down the window and she just runs off. I just found it funny because the headline.
Pick
Just
a lane.
The headline. Pick a lane or pick your nose.
Right.
Or pick your bra.
Right.
All right.
Fix your boob or pick your nose.
Right. So yeah, that happened. Okay, this one. Oh my God. I might have to read some of the story. Kansas man arrested for attempted sex with car.
Oh, the tailpipe?
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to
you
put
read
a
that.
banana in the tailpipe?
Yeah, his banana. In a case of the truth being stranger than fiction, Newton police took a 24-year-old man to the emergency room May 1 after he was
Burns.
found attempting to have sex with a car. We were called to the 1200 block of East Broadway to a report of a naked man underneath the car. He was attempting to stick his penis into the tailpipe of the vehicle. According to Powell, the suspect did not respond to officer commands, and the officer used a taser to subdue it. So the guy's like trying to pump a tailpipe, and he gets tased. Oh, that's just yeah. So, and he also had a .35. So the guy
All
could,
right,
he could
well,
still get it. The
you-
guy could still get it up.
Bury the
He's
lead.
almost dead.
Well, you don't know he did.
He's
but
almost dead trying to hump a car.
buried the lead there. He was drunk. What a shock.
All right, and then the last ridiculous one. Colorado woman cited after microwave blows up urine sample at 7-Eleven.
I saw this story.
Colorado woman has been cited by police after a container of what appeared to be urine blew up as she was heating it up in the microwave at a 7-Eleven. I think you know where this is going. So basically, she had to go to a clinic. She was in some kind of probation and had to bring in a urine sample, and she got someone else's urine and tried to heat it up in the microwave so it was warm like pee. Yeah.
Wow.
She. This is the
Wow,
best part,
that's
though. Clearly, she did not pass her urine test. Her probation was revoked, and she was issued a summons for damaged property. So, in addition to all that stuff, she got in trouble for blowing up the microwave
She's
with
about
pee.
as dumb as the woman who brought her meth in because he thought it was tainted with
that's
Ebola virus.
That's number one of the dumbest things that
Wow.
we've ever talked about.
Where was that story from?
Denver. Wow. So it's not in Florida or Ohio. So like we're branching out. So those are the most ridiculous things that I found on the interwebs.
All right, and you have we like to wrap up the program with an inspirational story. Hopefully we can
Actually, there's a really interesting parallel.
Okay.
I picked this one for
parallel to the woman with the pee in the microwave?
No, to something that you mentioned before that. Do you remember the Starbucks story that we brought up as far as the people being unjustly arrested?
Oh yeah, yep, in Philly,
Okay.
yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, are you talking about the outcome of that, or is this, or did you,
Something
you saw
that
what happened?
Yeah, something that they did as a result of it.
So they're the lawsuit they filed for.
No. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh yeah, but no, yeah, exactly. What they would get?
Yeah, they
as a
got
result.
$1.
Yeah, what they got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the headline is: instead of money for themselves, black men unjustly arrested at Starbucks arranged for a grant for city's youth. After 2 black men were arrested at a Philadelphia Starbucks earlier this month, the discriminatory nature of the event sparked national backlash, as we talked about in a previous episode. Now the men are being praised for their symbolically progressive settlement with the city. Jesus,
symbolic-y.
Yeah, hey man, it's the same meaning.
Whatever.
In exchange for expunging the city and company of all claims, Dante Robinson and Rashawn Nelson are settling for $1 each and a pledge from the city to create a $200,000 grant program for high school entrepreneurs. We thought long and hard about it, and we feel like this is the best way to see that change that we want to see. Sorry. It's not a right now thing that's good for right now, but I feel like we will see change over time. I am pleased to have resolved the potential claims against the city in this productive manner. This is the mayor, adding that the men first proposed to the idea of Philly officials in an attempt to make something positive come of this. The 23-year-old men will both serve on a committee to create the award and the grant, and the program's curriculum is expected to educate Philadelphia public school students on the challenges and benefits of being business owners.
Very good.
So there's
Very,
a lot
very
more
good.
of the article, but
Yeah.
I like that we were able to, that something positive came out of that
Sure.
situation, because it was bad,
Yeah,
real
no,
bad.
good for them. That's great, and not to make it about themselves, but make it about making the community better. Really
Yeah.
good. Very good story.
Oh, and
So
the other
that's
parallel I was referring to is they refer to the closing and the training of all 175,000 employees.
what do they say about it? What's in the story about it?
Starbucks CEO Kevin Johnson personally flew to Philadelphia to apologize to the men and thank them for their willingness to reconcile. Additionally, the company will be closing all American stores. So that happened like at the incident time, and then this is how the 2 people arrested responded.
Great response.
It's impressive.
Yeah, really good. Not to make that about themselves, but to improve not only community, but to improve the future of young people, and I'm always for that. So.
Right.
We like to wrap up the program with an inspirational story, kind of leave you feeling good with something in case you missed it. Also, on a special note here, as we wrap things up on episode 35, Barnyard Funk, I want to make mention of my former colleague and coworker at 670 The Score, Andy Garcia, whose wife passed away from cancer last Friday on the 4th. Andy and Meredith have young children. Andy is in radio. If I had to make a list of the top 10 guys as far as like just quality people, Andy would have easily made that list and would have been up near the top. Was just a good, genuine, kind, decent person. Loved my time working with him. He now works for Westwood One and does a great job producing sports events for Westwood One. Actually got him hooked up through ICB. To start doing local play-by-play, and he now does play-by-play for Northern Illinois.
Nice
sports, for I think women's basketball. So he has a future in play-by-play, and he's just a good, genuine, decent, real person. It was terribly sad to go to the funeral today for his wife Meredith, who just passed away too young from a terrible, vicious, horrible, unforgiving disease and cancer. Got to see some great people today that I used to work with. including Fred Hubner, his wife Pat, both dealing different illnesses. Fred had his own battle with cancer. He's doing really well right now. Got to see my old buddy Cy Strezzo, who I worked with. He was our late night overnight guy. He had some really interesting times with Cy when we'd come in the mornings to do Murph and Fred. Saw Derek Purvis and got to see current staff there, guys working, Brendan and Tanny and Herb, Shep and his wife Ashley. It was nice to see everybody, but a really sad and a terrible reason.
Yeah.
My old intern who now is an APD down in Florida, John the Rock Mamola, he and his wife flew in for the funeral. Yeah, so I got to see Rock today.
Wow.
But just thoughts and prayers with Andy and his family and his kids, Meredith's family as well. Just so sad. Meredith was just a really, really good person. I didn't really know Meredith all that well. Had some time actually at Chris Collins, who I saw today, Chris and Megan's wedding. Actually hung out with Andy and Meredith more than anyone at the wedding. It just kind of happened that way, and she was just a really good, sweet person. And the things I saw and heard about her today, just really made me disappointed not to know her better. But knowing how good of a guy Andy is, I know his wife had to be just as good of a person. So, if you know Andy through the Score Time, one of the most memorable times of Andy was working the Rick Tellender and Jay Hood and Doug Buffone afternoon show, which was a complete train wreck. Andy was the producer in that show, and
my God.
Andy was our assistant program director, and I nicknamed Andy the Burrito King of Chicago. It seemed like every time I saw the guy eating, it was a burrito. We were down in Florida in Jacksonville for the Super Bowl, and he was our APD at that time, and he was with us, and we all went out to a Mexican restaurant for a nice dinner. There's a whole group of us, and Andy ordered a hamburger.
Now,
a guy named Garcia
on purpose.
Yeah, he wanted a burger. No, not to be funny.
Yeah.
It's
That's what I meant.
No. That was on the menu. That's what he wanted. He ordered a hamburguesa. So, Andy was just a great guy, and it was great to see him today, but a terrible reason to do it. So, if you knew Andy from the Score days, shoot him a Facebook message if you're friends with him there, or Twitter. It's just so terrible. She was way too young. Young children now that will grow up without their mom, and heart goes out to Andy and his family, and Meredith's family, and thoughts and prayers for them. So we love you, Andy, and certainly thinking about you, pal. This is episode number 35, Barnyard Funk. We're brought to you by Mickey Finn's Brewery. Check them out at mickeyfinnsbrewery.com. Also, a big thanks to Will's Northwoods Inn. On behalf of Jason and myself, I'm Matt. This is the AFDE show. Vaticola Ferrari, discuss everything. Remember, you don't know when your time's up, like we talked about in the show. And life's too short, so have fun, be kind, and love people. Love the people you're with. Love them hard, love them even more. This is episode 35, Barnyard Funk, AFDE show.